Welcome to Building Bridges of Hope, only on Hope Channel Zambia. On this program, today we look at strategic vision and also mission. A visionary leader is key at every stage. This world is looking for guidance and also purpose. Join me as I feature Pastor Gabriel Mulambwa on Building Bridges of Hope. Pastor Gabriel Mulambwa is the president of Midlands West Zambia Conference. Welcome to the program, Mr. President, my leader.
Thank you so much, Daddy Stalo, for this warm welcome and introduction. And thank you so much, and a warm greeting to all the viewers this afternoon.
Thank you so much. I would like to go straight into the topic, visionary leadership. Share with us the strategic vision or mission for Midlands West Zambia Conference.
Thank you so much. Midlands West Zambia Conference does not exist as an island. We exist in a sisterhood of conferences in the Northern Zambia Union. And so our vision and our mission thrust feeds into the vision and the mission of the Northern Zambia Union, the Seventh Adventist Church at large, and that is to preach the everlasting gospel in our generation, in the context of the three angels' message. But in contextualizing this great commission that was given to us by Jesus Christ from the book of Matthew chapter 28, verse 19 to 20, we contextualize it so that the gospel then can be saved in the context of our setting. So in the current tenure of our office, that is the triennial term that we have, we ask God, what does and how does He want us to accomplish through mission, and how does He want us to engage with the church in order to accomplish the mission? So in a nutshell, we have embarked on a strategic mission thrust for 2025 to 2027 that will enhance mission and ministry in the local church. That is to see how we can capacitate or empower further the mission of the SDA Church by strengthening the structures at the grassroots, because that's where mission happens.
Thank you so much, dear viewer. In case you have just joined us, this is Building Bridges of Hope on Hope Channel Zambia. Join us or follow us on Facebook and also YouTube. If you are watching using the traditional TV, tune in on Hope Channel Zambia using the Topstar decoder. Also, if you're using the SID decoder on satellite, you can still follow us. If you are lucky, you're watching us using Zook, we are on. Our pastor, in Adventist, we have a lot of terminologies. You just used one in this triannually. Can you please unpack that? Triannually, this and that.
Okay. Yeah, of course, and thank you so much. This is in reference to the term under which the conference has to conduct its business. It's a term provided for in the conference constitution, and the model constitution of conferences allow that leadership is chosen for 3 years, hence the term triennial, for 3 years to run the mission, and after 3 years then it is reviewed and say in a meeting that we call a session. So our triennial term began this year in technically in January. The session was in December, so it runs for 3 years. And in these 3 years, then we are given the mandate to carry and provide leadership in the areas of mission and ministry.
Thank you. I hope you followed 3 years triennial. Now I would like to ask, did you achieve your objective in the previous triennial, in the previous 3 years? Because you have mentioned the 2025 to 2027.
Yes.
Allow me to take you backwards. Share with me just a few highlights.
Very interesting, Daddy. You know, Midlands West Zambia Conference, to understand this question, really a brief context will suffice. Midlands West Zambia Conference was organized in 2019 after a realignment session. So we would simply say Midlands West Zambia Conference was born or established in 2019. So the first 3 years of its existence was quite crucial and foundational to establish the work and to provide a system that will continue to see the work grow. So in that first tenure, we ran with a mission thrust we called growing the church. And because we were new, so we needed to grow the church quantitatively and qualitatively. In terms of quantities, we emphasize so much on baptisms and evangelism and involving everyone. And of course, riding on the total member involvement thrust by the General Conference and the division and the union. So we ran with that, and I think we saw extraordinary growth in the church in terms of numbers and figures. And that also includes the financial stewardship, the manner in which our members came on board to support the church through tithe and offerings. We may have been on the lower end of finances when it came to supporting the mission, but by the end of that term, we were among the highest supporting conferences in our union in the areas of tithe and offerings. So when then the Lord again allowed me, and as I think it is the grace of God, not really privileges or the right to have been retained for the second term. So in the second term, the Lord allowed us to ask again, what does He want to achieve? Because after those first 3 years, we did record high figures. So in the second tenure, we ran with the relevance of the church in the community in terms of changing their lives and addressing the needs around the church. So we dubbed ourselves as a benevolent conference. That is to say, we would not pass by at the sufferings of the community. As a church, we would take care of the hungry and feed those that lacked food and clothe those that were naked, and also provide shelter for those that did not have. So in the next tenure, the second tenure of the conference life, we saw a lot of community activities by the local churches, the district, and even the conference at large. Our budgets were tailored to ensuring that the community felt the presence of the church and the Christian. As Jesus would say, we were to be the salt of the earth. And so, but that was not also to say we abandoned the first thrust, which had to do with the growing the church. So as we went into the second phase, we carried on the first thrust of growing the church and added the issues of being relevant to the community. So when we look at how we fared by December, we can say we dealt with this thrust fairly well. We saw more than 100 homes of homeless people or were given to homeless people. Local churches and districts provided shelter for more than 100 people. We saw wheelchairs being given to the lame and the disabled. food hampers being provided. Those that needed medication to be flown, we had a case of one being flown to India and courtesy to the local church and district, because we wanted the church to be benevolent, to be resourceful. In the corporate world, it's like what they would say, giving back to the community,
corporate social
corporate social responsibility. I think the corporate world borrowed that from Jesus Christ. Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
Oh, Pastor, thank you so much. But still, I want to ask. I've heard concerning the previous tenure of 3 years and how you achieved. But I thought still, growing the church is more important than nurturing it. Is it?
Well,
growing the church or being relevant to the church? Given the two, from a layman point of view, I would say growing the church is better than being relevant. Can you justify?
Wow. It's like a fisherman. Once you have caught the fish, you still have the responsibility to keep the fish and to keep it fresh and to keep it, to nurture it. Excuse me. So while it is important to evangelize and add many to the church in terms of numbers, it is also equally important to nurture them. When we baptize, we also must nurture those that we must baptize. We must make them feel at home and useful in the kingdom of God, so that we do not have a backdoor syndrome where we are baptizing and people are leaving. Interestingly, Daddy, you'll be interested to know that we put extra effort in nurturing in as much as we put in evangelizing and winning people to Christ. The conference currently stands at a membership of 198,605.
Too much, just 200,000.
Yes,
almost 200.
Just almost 200,000. The first quarter alone of this year, we baptized 5,600 in the period between January and March. Of the people we baptized in the same period of 5,600, those that were removed from membership are less than 80.
Less than 80.
Yeah, that speaks to nurturing.
That's 0.000 something.
And of course, like Christ would say, even when one is lost, we must always be concerned. So we encourage a ministry of home visitation, nurturing, encouraging, in as much as we do for evangelism and winning many to Christ. They are like Siamese twins.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Allow me to divert you a bit. You spoke about your membership, almost 200,000. What would be the, it might not be your area or your department, but what could be for the whole country as Zambia membership?
In terms of our union?
I mean just the whole country combined.
Yes, roughly we are closing into 2 million Adventists in Zambia. In the northern and the southern.
Just there.
Yes.
So it means from the almost 2 million,
yeah.
If 200,000 are coming from Midlands West Zambia Conference, so you are contributing 10% of the whole country's Adventist population.
I like your mathematical
and
analysis.
That's not a small number, because we have over 11 entities.
Yes.
So you are one of the highest.
Midlands West is among the largest conferences, not only in Zambia,
I didn't know that,
but also in Southern Africa. We probably also have, in terms of
can beat
district
South
density. After the realignment, Mosotunya and Rusango conferences are now trailing behind us.
No, I meant it beats the SAU then.
Oh, South Africa, yes, and of course the figures are public on the internet. You can Google on the church official website. The ACMS gives those statistics so well.
I take you
Yes.
to visionary or strategic vision. Share with me, how are the departments feeding into the main vision of Midlands West Zambia Conference?
It is very crucial that to work as a body and not as independent parts of the body. So when we sit at the beginning of our tenure, we ask ourselves as administrators, as directors, what is the Lord saying concerning growing the church, concerning his vision, concerning actualizing the mission of the Seventh Adventist Church? How should we serve? How should we deliver? So once we have agreed on a path, each department then must pick points that will be relevant to their ministries or to their department, so that at the end of a month or a quarter, we aggregate them into one analysis that must speak to one big whole. So our directors and the departmental departments of our conference all have to tap into this vision. And as we speak right now, we are running with a mission thrust of growing the local church.
Growing the local
Or
church.
enhancing the local
Enhancing the
church.
local church.
How can we empower the local church? How can we remove the...
I cut you. Pastor, you're doing more administrative works because it's a conference.
Yes.
My question at first was, how are the directors fitting in? And I'm happy with your answer.
Yes.
But allow me to go down.
Yeah.
How is an ordinary membership tapping into the vision of Midlands West? Or how are church members involved in this?
We share the vision to the churches through church board summits. So we call our church board, the local church leaders, we share with them, and we then make appeals of how each individual Christian can participate in the mission, in the ministry of the church. Basically, we want to close the gap. So the processes of doing God's work should not be that complicated. Once every member finds their place in the gospel field, then it becomes an hallelujah achievement to the church. To make every member useful, to make them know that their being children of God is not just for shelves and just to celebrate that I'm a baptized member, but to challenge a church member, find what they can do in there for their Lord and for the church. So each individual church member then is challenged through their pastor and their elder, and they no longer become spectators, they become participants. So no one must then come to church feeling that they must be ministered to, but they come to church to minister. For as long as one has accepted Christ as their Lord and Savior, then the burden to reach out, to lighten the burden of another person becomes personal. And that is very crucial in ensuring that we attain the vision, the mission of the Lord. So we have to critically share this vision and challenge them, and we do so usually at the beginning of the year, and we invite them, and the attendance has been overwhelming. Yeah.
Leadership and vision, Pastor, sometimes it's easier said than done. This is your 6th month. How are you making sure that you are measuring or monitoring to make sure departments and others are on course, are on the right trajectory? How are you ensuring? I know this is 7th month or 6th month, but how do you ensure that you measure or you're on course?
You know, without without getting into the specifics of our vision thrust, following up on your question, we share, we show them the direction at the beginning of the year. We tell them this is what the conference is expected to achieve. This is the direction that we must be moving. And after we have explained, and especially for this year's mission thrust, it was a little bit technical and administrative. It wasn't, it had to deal with a lot of restructuring of how we have been doing business for a very long time as a church. So after we have shared that, which was also just the same approach we have been doing in the past, then by the end of the quarter, we receive, or we sit with the pastors to receive feedback. How is it settling in? How are we making it in? So we tailor our reports to speak to the vision, to the mission that we have shared, to the thrust that we have shared. And on this one, the current one, we have not only sat to review with the pastors, but we have also called strategic federations of our conference, the Dockers, the AMO. Will give feedback and say, this part is not speaking well, this part is a challenge. And we hope by June then, we should be able to think through and say, is what we are getting as feedback something that will enhance this vision, or if we change and refine it here and there, what are we losing, what are we gaining? So there is a structured feedback and evaluations that we do on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. Yes. And so far, the feedback has been very positive in terms of giving us exactly how we are faring with the vision thrust. So it is a process that is two-ended. It's not one-sided. We receive and we get suggestion, and we review as administrators, and we make decisions whether to maintain or to revise. But once we cast the vision and we are very certain, the best analysis, like you have said, we must allow it to run it probably for a year, and then it will be able to tell us whether it was a success or not.
Thank you so much. We will be coming to the objectives for 2025-2027 mission thrust. But before that, allow me, you had mentioned the word restructuring, structuring. In Midlands West Zambia Conference, unlike other conferences, we have seen certain positions like district secretary here and there not existing. Or what could be the reason?
The reason is simple, Daddy.
Or just restructuring.
Yeah. The reason lies in the word enhancing the local church. Mission happens at the local church. When we are baptizing, we baptize people at the local church. When people are sick, it is the elders, it's the members of the local church who know where the patient is and the house is. When it comes to Holy Communion, it is saved at the local church. Ministry, in short, happens at the local church. So the better we empower and enhance the local church structures, the better. So at district level, and also at federations of the conference, they are basically supposed to play the role of coordinating as opposed to repeating what is supposed to be done at the local church. Because once you allow a structure at district level or at conference level that is lay operated, it requires funding. So who funds such kind of activities at district and local? So when you do not restructure them at district level, they begin to exert some financial stress on the local church. So there were a lot of then calls for funding from the local church, district operations and all these things. So in order to enhance the local church, then you just have to scrap the district structures and allow the pastor to work directly with the elders in managing the local churches.
Decision making in leadership is one of the hardest responsibilities. Sometimes people receive it with mixed feelings. How do you make sure how do you manage a resistance when the conference has set a vision and maybe there is resistance? How do you manage, especially that you have one of the largest membership in the two unions or in the Union of Northern Zambia?
Sure. I think the important thing is communication and engagement. When people don't know what you are doing, they will fight you, or they will take a certain other direction. They will resist, they will oppose because they have not understood. So in most cases, that comes out due to lack of communication. So as leaders, we must be so much interested to not just communicate, but to ensure that we are ahead in our communication. But also this communication must always be two-way. We must never be fixated. We must get exactly what they feel is how they are hearing you. Because the church is a systematic combination of the clergy and the lay people. And we cannot just allow the pastors alone to run the church. It is a relationship of members and church and pastors running this work of God. So it is important, whereas we are trained and we are experts by way of training through theological trainings to run the church in terms of ecclesia, we also must ensure that our members have been made to understand. So in our case, where we run the largest unit, and you'd be interested to know that one pastor runs 80 congregations.
80 congregations?
Without the traditional structure of the district.
Wow.
So he sits with 80 first elders.
First elders.
Every person comes to a district meeting for big decision making. It will be a whole day's meeting. But so you have them to streamline and make the district lean and small for the sake of decision making. So it is these restructuring that then must be so clearly explained and why we are going this direction. Otherwise people will say, if it is not broken, why fix it? In Midlands West, we don't wait to see it broken. We improve, we increase on what is already working well.
Thank you. We improve on already what is working well. I liked his point when he said, with us in Midlands West, communication, I'm just adding my words, is a two-way asymmetric communication. We get feedback from the lay people and we work with the lay people. Pastor, I had stopped you on objectives for this year that we have, 2025, 2027. What are some of your objectives that you have set, or the things that you want to achieve?
Basically, there are two main objectives as we enhance the local church. Number one, in restructuring, we are saying let human resource that was found at district and at conference levels be pushed back in the local church, because those men and women are experienced, and now there are so many. We have a lot of master guides who have been operating at these higher levels. So we are pushing them back into the local churches and the companies to go and empower and enhance ministry in their own local churches. That is very important because that's where mission happens. Secondly, by restructuring, we are also saying we are retaining as much funds in the local church as possible. So we have scrapped off certain funds that were being remitted from the local church to maintain the district and the conference federations. So by retaining resources, financial resources, we are enhancing the local church. And this can be seen once we did that. Those churches that are building now can have a little more funds to channel to their building projects. Those churches that had programs of feeding their own local people in their own community, now they can plan around. And thirdly, which is probably a byproduct of this restructuring and redirecting of financial resources, which were consumed or expensed at the district into the local church, is the need for the local church itself to come up with its own tailor-made programs, because they know their needs. So they will not now have to be presided over by district programs, which in some cases may not speak to the needs of the local church. So the elder and his church board will sit and outline the activities that they know will be meaningful to their local churches. So the objective is now really to now strengthen ministry that is targeted to the needs of the people, and also mission that will be more relevant to their local churches. You know, it is time now to allow local churches to receive strategies directly from the conference, just as the conference receives strategies directly from the union, and the union receives strategies from the division, without much other interferences in the recognized denominational structure, the organogram of the Seventh Adventist Church. So these are the objectives, and we can see the results. Even in the midst of this learning phase, we can see the results. Members have got now more time for Sunday meetings with their families. Without restructuring, districts and other federations will always plan endless meetings on Sundays and stuff like that. So we are strengthening the local church, we are enhancing the local church, and in the process, families have more time to know what their church is thinking and where the church is going, and to participate and give their very best to their local church and to their God.
How do you ensure that your vision is rolled out to every corner of the conference? But before you answer that, paint a picture, share with me the vastness of your conference. Midlands West, we just hear, oh, it's also in Lusaka, it's also in Mumbu, it's also, where are you, or where is it? Share with us the picture so that from today, yes, we want to know about Midlands West.
Midlands West, thank you so much, Daddy, and it's a very important thing to put our conference in context. Mm-hmm. The territory spans from parts of Lusaka, that is the Great East Road, the northern part of the Great East Road, up to Parliament. So from the roundabout, the Kabwe roundabout, you take the Great East Road up to somewhere around Parliament building there, into the Zambezi Road, then you join the rail line after the Zambezi Road beyond Gwerere there. Then you follow the rail line all the way up to somewhere near Kabwe, just after Chibombo. Then you turn to the western side into the Lukanga swamps, all the way into the near the Kafue National Park. You boundary the Kafue River up to where the Kafue Hook Bridge is there.
Coming
to Mumbwa Road now. Okay. Technically, sometimes we say we Tate Yoyo barrier as you exit the Kafue National Park going into Western Province is our boundary there. Then along the Mungu, Lusaka Road. So all this territory, Chiuni, Kaindu, Mumbwa, Stumbeko, into Lusaka here, Chibombo, it's quite a vast territory with, as I said, more than 700 congregations. We have got 431 organized churches, 322 companies, and 29 districts. So it's quite a vast territory, parts of Lusaka, the western part of Lusaka. Yeah.
And then now a follow-up question. How do you make sure that your vision is rolled to all this Kafue roundabout, Kabwe roundabout, Tata Yoyo,
Yes.
Tate yoyo, Lukanga. Oh, how do you ensure that?
Yes. Of course, if we were to...
Is it because of technology? Or?
Of course, because of the vastness, then we zone our territory into 3 to make it easier for our members to travel to a common place when we meet, to roll out our vision in a physical, interactive meeting. So we have the Lusaka region where about 18 districts will meet. And when we say 18 districts, we are really saying just from Garden House or Mwembeshi here,
Yes.
all the way up to Katuba, and all the districts within Lusaka. So we meet, and then the other part is in Chibombo. Sometimes we meet in Kembe. They will travel to that one point the following day or the other day. And then the last point would be Mumbwa itself. So in Mumbwa, then we'll probably have only 4 or 5 districts, but because of the volume of the churches there.
In Mumbwa?
Yes, Mumbwa.
Okay.
Quite a number of them. So that is one way in which we roll out our vision. We segment the territory into 3 points, and then we invite our people. And then there are times when, especially for Lusaka region, we call for virtual meetings. So we use technology. Okay. Almost everyone then has a smartphone.
Wow.
Yeah, and then other than that, then we streamline our meetings to include only pastors. Then the pastors then will go into their own territories to share the vision. Our pastors are dedicated and committed. So as long as your group of pastors understand the vision, then they can replicate that vision in their districts. So we also make sure that our pastors understand where we are going so that they go and cascade the same vision in their districts. Within a space of a month, what I've just said is accomplished, and the whole conference understands where we are going.
Within a space of a month,
Yes.
all is accomplished.
Yes.
Not happy, Pastor.
Yes.
Within a month. No,
Yes.
you're supposed to say within a week.
Within a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
therefore, it brings me to another question.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you face with us, Midlands West, with this strategic vision? You have painted a nice picture like everything is rosy. Share with me, what are some of the challenges?
Well, there are definitely challenges common to many entities and conferences. One of the challenges are in fact, there may be threats. They are external factors. Last year, we were hit by a drought. So our rural or farming communities, which is bulk of our conference, was seriously hit.
Just there on a lighter note,
Yeah.
did you show the benevolent, because you are saying the benevolent
Yes.
conference during the drought?
Oh yes,
Did
and
you show your
like
benevolence
we were a benevolent conference. Number one, we suffer together and pray together, but
with the people?
and yes, we also through personal ministries and stewardship, we were providing kits for the farming communities. Those who have cattle would provide medications for their dipping, and that would be from the conference budget. A few others would help with startups for seed, so that they should be able to be ready for the farming season, which was anticipated, and also the affluent districts of Lusaka would take handouts in form of milli meal in the hard hit areas. The AMO did a fantastic job in Mwembeshi and Nangoma areas to provide whatever they could in terms of milli meal.
Another lighter note, this time we didn't have El Nino drought. We had bumper harvest.
Exactly.
Will the member church, meaning the church members, replicate what we did? Or are you encouraging them to say?
Of course, it goes without saying. You know, we return to God as much as He has blessed us. So Members, if God blesses, they return according to the blessing. If God does not allow them to handle cash, how do they return what they don't have? So that is a normal and natural life of a Christian.
Thank you. You may
Yes.
continue with
Yes.
challenges.
So the challenges, which were mainly external, affected mission. We saw a few baptisms happening because we could not hold crusades due to the challenges of resources in the rural especially. And also,
I was going to say water also.
yes, so the challenges of that drought could not go without saying. In town, we face the challenges of ensuring that the church remains focused in the area of mission. You know, it's a cosmopolitan, so the burden of ensuring that we remain united, unaffected by the politics of our societies, and remaining just neutral and Christian. The challenges of the economies that sometimes cause our members to be faithful. It's just the normal challenges that we go through. We continue to live in a world that faces sin. You know, we war against not against flesh and blood. So the challenges of just ensuring that Christians remain faithful to their God. We have seen how our society is hit by crime. Marriages are breaking faster than they can be mended. Children are becoming delinquent. And as a church, then we are faced with this challenge of remaining the salt of the world. Sometimes we make wrong headlines as Christians when we fail to uphold Christian ethics and behavior. These are daily challenges that, as a church, we struggle with, and their personal levels, individual challenges, but they hit us as a corporate body. We continue also to face the challenges where the mission of the church must be maintained. Sometimes we want to be like any other denomination, to speak on subjects that we are not called to speak as a church, to do things that will make us popular. Ours is mission and ministry, to preach the gospel in the context of the three angels' messages, and to prepare this world for the soon return of our Savior. The more we baptize, the more the challenge to take care of the people that we baptize. You know, it doesn't take a day to change a person's behavior. If a person was a drunkard, a smoker, and they accept Jesus Christ today, they still struggle with the addiction of drinking. So if we do not take care, if we do not nurture well, you then begin to see that, oh, Adventists are now drinking, oh, Adventists are now breaking their marriages. And yet it is a process that must continue in terms of transforming people's lives. So the more we then baptize and accept into our membership, the more we have the responsibility to ensure that they live in accordance with the Bible truths. So we continue to face those challenges. And sometimes when we see these challenges, we think as a church we endorse them. And yet it's just a normal process of transforming and nurturing and pastoring. We are seeing the influences of other churches, Pentecostalism coming into the church, the modes of the way we pray, the kind of singing, the way we do our singing. It's all because the church is absorbing a lot into it, and those people that are coming are also bringing their cultures and their tendencies from. So we have this serious challenge of maintaining our unique identity, including the messages that we must be preaching as a church. We shouldn't begin to entertain social gospel on our pulpits. Ours is a prophetic role. The distinctive messages of the Sabbath, the state of the dead, the prophetic ministry of Jesus Christ in the heavenly sanctuary. We must speak about the eschatology of Daniel and Revelation. We must continue to hammer on the importance of stewardship, the importance of ecclesiology,
Pastor.
as opposed to this the social gospel of breakthroughs and healings. While they are also important, but we have a unique calling. So we are facing these challenges where we are seeing popular gospels being entertained on our pulpits. We must get back to the roots. Yeah.
Though numerous,
Yeah.
but they are not unique to Midlands West.
No, they are not.
These are challenges that the whole world is facing.
Yes.
But I liked the first one that you spoke about. In leadership, sometimes when it comes to strategies, when one strategy is not working, you need to have a plan B. I'd like to hear the plan B for Midlands West in terms of the vision or the focus, or in terms of the challenges that you're facing. What's your plan B, or how do you counter them?
Quite true. You know, it's hard to think about plan B when you are already rolling your plan A. Until we have challenges with what we are doing, we do not think there is a plan B. Also, like I earlier on indicated, the plan of the church has been outlined by Jesus Christ. And he outlined it just before he left heaven. He told us, all power is given unto him in heaven and on earth. Go ye therefore and preach this gospel to all the world, and then the end shall come. So that is the plan, to preach the gospel, and there is no other plan. So what probably, like you have well indicated, could be strategies of how to actualize this plan. So it's hard to find a plan B when it comes to doing ministry. We get back to ourselves, we pray, why is this not working? We consult our pastors, we call our elders and church board members, is this working? So our plan B is resident in what our members will give us feedback, so that together we think on then what will work to actualize the gospel. And it's true. For as long as it's an organization, there'll be challenges, and this is why even the World Church will come up with strategies or strategic plans for the next 5 years. There was Harvest 90, there was all this and that and that. But the mission remains. And I think the plans, if it's B or C, is refining what was already happening so that we can enhance the preaching of the gospel.
Thank you so much, Pastor. You rightly mentioned earlier to say for the church, our church, Jesus Christ is the one we look up to. But you have a figurehead position. You are the president for Midlands West. How do you ensure that you continue becoming a role model to the flock you lead? It seems to be working well for Midlands West. What is your secret?
Wow. I'm equally as shocked as some when I look at how the Lord has led me to be at the helm of this conference. I ascribe my leadership, my presidents, to the grace of God. And I think once one accepts to serve God, not to serve a position, not to preserve a position, but to serve God. We allow Him to use us, and the role modeling to others becomes a natural byproduct. We do not wake up to be role models. We wake up to serve God. We wake up to work for Him. I wake up to see what is the Lord saying with regard to what He has allowed me to do now. And in the process, then someone is seeing how I'm doing it. I do not wake up to say, I want to be a very good example.
Thank you so much. I cut you again. As we come towards the end of the program, I will ask Pastor for his closing remarks. But firstly, share with me just quickly building this strategic vision in a nutshell. I will still ask you for the conclusion. As a leader, figurehead position, how do you ensure that building of this strategic vision and making sure it's in line with the world church? How do you ensure that you build the strategic vision of Midlands West and align it to the union or the world church?
Very important. Currently, the vision or the strategic plan of the union is I will go. It's a call for every member to participate, to answer the call that God makes. Who will I send? Who will go for us? And then, like Isaiah, then we challenge each member to say, I will go.
I will go, I cut you. Your closing remarks, Pastor.
My closing remarks is simply to call and appeal every church member to answer like Isaiah, I will go. And the more we get to the ground, the grassroots, the local church, and speak right down there to say, let's get involved in the work of God, the better then will enhance God's work. In Midlands West Zambia Conference, we may not be unique to other districts, to other conferences. We are simply part of the sisterhood of all conferences in Zambia and in the world to speak to this vision that we must get involved, and we must all be involved in the work of God. Whether it be our financial resources, we must be involved. Whether it be our time in terms of spending time to witness for God, we must be involved. Whether it is about our talents, our spiritual gifts, we must be involved. With everything, we appeal for total member involvement for everyone to go. So the local church becomes our answer. To empower that local church, to enhance ministry of local church, would have enhanced the vision upward up to the General Conference.
Thank you so much, dear viewer. We have come to the end of the program. This was Building Bridges of Hope, featuring Pastor Gabriel Mulambwa. If you reside within the Midlands West Zambia Conference, the benevolent conference, please ensure that you do your work. Total member involvement. May God's will be your will, that other people may come to know you or to know Christ in a personal way. Thank you so much, Pastor, for coming at short notice.
It's been a blessing, Daddy Chalo, and I've been honored. God bless you indeed.
Dear viewer, bye-bye till we meet again next week at the same time.